Welcome to part three. We're joined by Terry, who should be clicking on any minute. Just got me big Ron. What do you think to my t-shirt? Dennis Hobson, white collar boxing, eh? Pop, pop, bang on that one, Big Ron. What do you think to the t-shirt, Tell?
You found it.
Just bolted upstairs and got it. Right, we'll get stuck in then. We've put Frotch, Yui, and Big Ron to bed. Nobody can terrorise me in the comment section now or emails. Turkey's opinion on pay-per-view prices. He wants to bring them below 20 quid, and that includes America as well. What do you think about
No, it's a step in the right direction. Definitely for the Americans. Yeah, the Americans are big winners in that. They'll be buzzing. I think from our perspective, um, it still feels a bit steep for what we're getting.
that? Yeah. What? Do you
Yeah,
think it should be a tenner?
somewhere between 10 and 15, I'm okay with. Because the thing is, I did an episode on this, Russ. You got to think with the amount that everything's gone up by this month, right? It's not going to be long till people just start sacking off the zone where you're like, I don't get enough to justify it. And people will sack boxing off, apart from the super hardcores. Like people just will be like, I don't need the zone for the boxing and sack it off. And then what?
What
Now
was that
you'll
Better
have
Beat show? 340,000 buys. They were anticipating 1.5 million, weren't they?
for which
Bricktop and
one?
all them in their interviews. Best show in world.
I was never going to do those numbers. Um, the thing is, like Russ, when you're in the boxing bubble, you don't realize how insignificant boxing is till you step out.
Yeah.
Is that your Conor Ben shake?
Yeah, it's me. It's banana and this rich Caspari drink.
Is he still doing his supplements?
Yeah, rich Caspari, Cybogenics or something.
Oh, Cybogenics, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm trying to get some weight on so I can be like Big Rich. After my Lee Priest arm workout this morning. Super.
What, what, 4 reps and then just walk around the gym?
Yeah. Five. Give me credit, Terry. Right. Frank Warren show. He promised a lot for his DAZN debut, sold tickets, and people have joined DAZN and all that, but half at show has been pulled on it. I mean, do you think that's getting too common these days? And putting out big shows knowing that people are going to pull out. You
Who's
think?
pulled out?
Well, honestly, what people are saying. So, in what he said, what a few weeks ago, going to have so and so on and this and that.
So let's see. You've got Joyce versus Hergovich, which for like a UK kind of card, I think it's a fair fight. I'm not going to complain about that.
Yeah.
Adelaide versus Jamie TKV, fair fight. Like kids at a similar stage of their career. One will move on, one won't. So that's a fair fight. And then I think I described it as you got a load of kind of like round robin talent. You know, guys who just fill cards, like Royston Barney, etc. These guys who just always fill cards. Um, One of the Birchall brothers is on there as well. And then you've got a couple of interesting debuts, right? So you've got Delicious Ori making his debut tonight. So he was our Olympian last year, I think. And then you've got Rampton Musa making his debut as well. So there's a couple of interesting debuts. It's not a blockbuster. I think I wouldn't have had this as my first card. I might have had it as like a second card. But as a first card, you're like, expecting a little bit more.
Yeah. A bit like Turkish show with Better Beaver and Bivol. They had pullouts and that, didn't they? And it ended up it was all right, but it weren't the best card ever. I mean, we all bigged it up as the world's best card, didn't we? But it fell apart,
No, I
didn't it?
didn't. I never thought it was. It never.
No?
It no, it was a lot of recycled trash was in there. Do you know what I mean? So I was just like, it's an okay card. It's a good card.
Do
It
you
can't
reckon
be that
that
great.
Bricktop will never get back to the full Monty days, in 97?
He could at any time. Frank Warren could do that, but it's like when you get a good key, Russ. Let's say you get a full flaky key, right? You just want to cut that as much as you can, don't you? You're
I
like, look, I
don't know
can.
if it, I don't. I want it off at bone, me, if it's for myself. I'll keep that for me. They can have that.
And
No,
that's
I
what's
see where
happened
you're
with
coming
boxing.
from, yeah.
Yeah, boxing is the Americans call it stepped on, don't they? It's just but the product in boxing is just cut to shit at the moment, isn't it? And we're all paying a price for it. They could easily do supercards, 4 supercards a year. They could easily do, but then they know there'd be nothing in between. But people are just going to sack the zone off anyway, so you may as well do it. Like I think it's going to be embarrassing for these guys because remember, it wasn't long ago when Frank was taking shots at the zone and how many people actually watched the zone, right? So how's he going to feel? And I'd ask Frank this if he was here now. I'd say, how are you going to feel when your shows are being watched by 9,000 people?
Do you
And
remember when Bricktop had a go at Eddie with Stabab? And then he got involved with Stubborn, didn't he, with Tyson Fury? And nobody mentioned it on no YouTubers, did they?
see,
What about the other one, Terry? Do you remember when Bricktop set about the Saudi regime? Right? Remember that, don't you?
yeah,
And then he got in there first, and Bricktop went on IFL with Coogan and set about the old Saudi outfit because he were on the outside looking in. Nobody's mentioned it now. 2 seconds.
wait right there, Terry. I got some serious questions for you.
You all right?
uh,
But no, he did though, didn't he? Do you remember? He went on there and he went, have you seen the regime out there, Saudi, blah, blah, blah. They can't even have alcohol and all that. And now look, hey? But it's all
money
a
does
bit fixed
strange
up on
things
it.
to people.
Do you think, Terry, that Turkey had a look at them all last 2 years and he's thought, do you know what? They were tiptoeing when they first got in there. They got all that free gratis and they could smell that Bisto gravy granules, as you say, kid. They were all tiptoeing about, weren't they? They were all humble, nodding dogs, going on about how great it were and all that. And 3 or 4 trips down the line, the masks started to slip a little bit, didn't they? There's stories about Big John Fury not happy about uh, going into certain places out there, and you've got to put ID in and all that, and type stuff into things, to go and blah de blah, where you go and that, and having a moan about this and that, and other people, and the masks started to slip a little bit lower. Then Big John Fury stuck it on somebody, didn't he? And blah de blah. But at the moment, they all look like they've been sent to Coventry, don't they? I mean, what about Spencer Brown coming out holding hands with Turkey and Bricktop? At least Eddie didn't do that, did he? So they're all, I wanna hold your hand. They're all holding hands, weren't they, mate? And now look, hey, they've been kicked at sidewalk. Do you know why? I personally think he's had a look at them all and thought, look at these, like, here, they sell the fucking grannies, wouldn't they? Hey, they sell the grannies.
Well, that's why they got into boxing. So you and I talk about this a lot. So I sound like a broken record. There's some very smart people that sit behind Turkey. People can think what they want about Turkey. You can take the piss out of him and his English, whatever you want to do. There are some really smart people around Turkey, and you don't want to get it wrong, right? And they made the calculation. This is how much it will cost us to control these fighters in boxing, right? And they said, here's what we're going to do. We're going to drown them in money until they blow everyone else off and just literally obsess over us. And then we're just going to cut those purses down bit by bit. Bit by bit, we're going to keep chopping it down and they'll have nowhere left to go. All right. So if you think about it now, Sky are probably on their way out of boxing. TNT have gone. We don't get anything on the BBC. We get something on Channel 5. Look at America. It's just ESPN, really, and Amazon, right? So the Saudis are like, well, there's nowhere left to go. Like, we own part of the zone anyway. So there's nowhere left. These guys can't escape us. And they've just got British boxing in a chokehold now. And no one saw that coming, although I did.
You
And
did,
it's like,
remember?
yeah, I said, when they get these guys hooked on the money, they're going to start turning the screw on them. And then they're going to look around and they're going to go, we only need one of these. And I always felt it would be Frank and then it will be George because George is the kind of guy they can do a deal with. And I always tell people this. You see, when you're dealing with the Arabs, right? They're a lovely people, Russ, but these are two things the Arabs respect: strength and integrity. If you don't show those, they don't really respect you. So you saying we don't mess with the Saudis, them throwing a few quid at you, there you go, I love Saudi Arabia. They don't respect that. They'll do business with you, but they'll never respect you.
Yeah. Well, we called it, didn't we? I mean, Cobra went out there and he got interviewed with Turkey, but he'd hammered him for months up to that. So they'd have remembered that, wouldn't they? They want,
Yeah, but if you
what they're
think like
doing views, want to shut him up.
yeah, when people ask me about Saudi, right at the beginning, I said this. I said, who are we to judge? That's what I said. I said, who are we to judge? And I said that not because I wanted to get a freebie. It's because I understand this country's history. I understand every country's history. And every country's on a journey to be better. You know what I mean? Week on week,
Yeah.
year on year, whatever you want to call it. They're on a journey to be better. And because I've got friends in Saudi, I know the steps they're taking to open that country up. So I remember doing that on one of my pods. And I got a fair few messages from the guys in Saudi, like people who live in Saudi and are involved in boxing over there. And they're like, mate, you're the most balanced opinion on this that we've heard. Because I know how the world works, mate. And these guys are going to get a real hard awakening next year when Turkey's looking at them like, where are the superstars? And they're like, we don't know. And then he'll just be like, right, I'm going to do this myself.
Well, he hasn't, and done it. I mean, he's had all these experts around him. Bricktop, Eddie Hills, the Billy Ricky Iceman, 7-0, 5 by way of course. Fresh after his victory over Ben Shalom, which Marcus McDonald put down as a TKO, but it was a push. He's had all these experts around him, man, in Turkey. And he's ended up going off with a guy who's never promoted a boxing show in his life. So that's the right kicking teeth for all that shower, isn't it? They proper showed themselves up. I think so. I think they showed themselves up as greedy. I do know for a fact that they think Tyson Fury is greedy, the Saudis. Very greedy. Usyk, they love to death. Whatever offers they put to him, he took them straight away. Usyk. He's proper in with them now. Usyk's team are in with them, you know.
Yeah, but it's but
Temperament.
like we said, integrity, mate.
Yeah, integrity. Look what it stands for. Look what Usyk stands for. And let's have it right. He's beat all of them, hasn't
Yeah, his thing is let's do business. Yeah? And that's how the Saudis work. Let's do business. Let's sit in a room and you tell us what you think the value is. We'll tell you what we think the value is. We'll hammer it out. We'll shake hands and move on.
Right, okay. Well, enough Saudi talk. Tony Bellew says he's going to come back to Darren Barker at right price on Matchroom Boxing. In his interview with Darren Barker, he's already knocked back 1.6 million.
To fight who?
I don't think he said, but we're offered 1.6 million to fight. He's knocked that back, and he's got his price. He says in his interview what he wants to come back, but who want to buy into him coming back at 42? Do we want to see him back? Yeah, I'd like to see him come back to get filled in. At least I'm
But
honest
but
down because I
but
don't like him. I don't like
but
Belgium. I never liked him. So I want to see him filled in, but not. I want to see him get on to his missing kids, but I'd like to see him get knocked out again. Because when he got knocked out by Usyk, I was buzzing.
who's he gonna fight?
Well, he could fight Chisora, couldn't he, and create some fake beef. They could leave. These people are chameleons, Terry. They could do
Get
anything. They go
smoked.
to bed with an anaconda if they get
Russ,
paid.
he'd get smoked.
Against who? Chisora.
Yeah, he gets smoked because Derek hasn't stopped. Do you know what I mean? So Derek's conditioned to fighting. Bellew's not. I don't care what camp he gets into. That chin ain't gonna be built for what Derek will bring. And
They
like
all
it's a
want one more payday, don't they? The Cobra's trying to get that Jake Paul, and he's not going to get it. I can see where Carl's coming from. I'll get back to Frost. I'm just a little touch on something here. Chavez fight, right? You know and I know that it didn't happen because Bob Arum stopped the fight happening. Why can't Eddie Earn talk about that in his interview? Eddie Hills. Instead of saying, "Oh, Carl had an elbow injury and all this," because on the stomping ground, he stuck it at Cobra, didn't he? And said, but then we talk about Tony Bellew, he's loyal. They're trying to say Carl ain't loyal, well, whatever. But when you're talking about the Chavez fight, Eddie, tell the truth. Bob Arum said, "I'll
Carl
release."
wasn't loyal to you though,
Well, he let me down when he offered me to go on his channel,
so
didn't
he's
he?
not
I never
loyal.
stayed
Wait,
to
wait, hold on.
go.
No, no. So he's not loyal. Hearn's right. He's not loyal.
Yeah, well, Bellew's been loyal to him, hasn't he?
Yeah, Bellew would have had you on his channel.
Well, if he offered me, if somebody offers you a chance to go on the channel, I said, yeah, that'd be great. That's so great. A year later, I'm like, what's going on here? But getting back to that with Bob Arum, he said, I'll release Chavez. I want $1 million. Between Heyman and Eddie, they couldn't sort that million. So Carl never got his Vegas pension, did he? But why is he going on about his elbow injury? He'd had the elbow injury about 6 years and having cortisone for it. So it weren't the elbow, it was the dough situation because Cobra won't budge on his purse, would he? He wasn't going to lose the mill. Chavez weren't. And Heyman and Eddie didn't want to budge. So it didn't happen, did it? Because of Aaron putting spoke
Hmm.
in. So, I'm coming from. So why didn't Eddie just say that? Instead of going on about he was injured and he's stabbing and all that.
Because you got to do deals with people, Russ.
I'll tell
So
you
think
why it is, because if you're going to speak to Carl, you're going to get, say, 5 million, then you come out, well, it's going to be 4. He's going to go, Toys out at Pram, innit? But Carl needs to come out and tell the story about that instead of Eddie going on about a poxy elbow. Do you know what I mean? Elbow.
no, 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 no. I feel for Eddie, right? Like Russ, if you and I have to do business, right? Every so often, you and I have to do business over a period of 10 years.
Yeah.
I don't care what comes up, right? There could be a problem that comes up, whatever. They say you're talking to my missus, whatever. That can't get in the way of us doing business because we still got to do business. So you're not going to make a big song and dance about it publicly because you're like, well, we still got to do business together. And that gets forgotten a lot of times, Russ, that we want promoters to come out and give someone a kicking. But it's like, well, all right, you give that person a kicking, but you got to see them again.
Mm.
Like, look at Hearn. Hearn was giving people kickings in America, like Shelly Finkel, etc. And then fights weren't getting made.
Yeah.
But Frank doesn't do that. Like, Frank's not out there doing impressions of Shelly Finkel, etc., calling Shelly Finkel Shirley Winkle, and then deals were getting done.
And then doing Bob Arum impressions, it pissed Bob Arum off a lot of times, didn't he, Eddie?
Yeah, of course. And then, do you really want to do deals? You're only going to do the deals when you can get the matchroom guy beat. That's when you do the deal.
Yeah. Okay. AJ. AJ and Wilder or AJ and Fury. Wilder's an easy one for him. Fury one, they'll get 2 out of it and he'll get paid. You think that's on the way he can go now, AJ, Wilder and then Fury?
I think he'll pick one of those, and then that'll be it for him.
Do you think Dylan White's in mix for AJ?
No,
No?
it
Okay.
wasn't close to last time, so I don't think people care.
Joyce, Ergovic, who you got?
On the spot, I'm going to just say Hergovich on freshness, to be honest.
Okay. If Joyce loses, he's 40 in a couple of months. Is he a gatekeeper or will he walk away?
He'll retire.
Okay. David Adelaide against TKV.
Um, I've got Jamie TKV
I've
for
got
that one.
I've got David Adelaide.
And I'm telling people now, the bookies have that pricing all wrong. Now, I can't guarantee Jamie will win, but if he's anything better than 2-1, the bookies have it miles off. Those two guys are a lot closer fight-wise than people think, and you're going to see it when it happens. Like they're pretty close. A lot of people are falling in love with Adelaide because of the power, but I don't think they really give Jamie credit for toughness, strength, ring IQ, etc.
Okay. Ben and Liam, Ben Whittaker and Liam Cameron contract. Liam's saying it's 12 round. Ben's saying 10. It's all a bit messy now, isn't it? Do you think?
Contracts got 12 in it.
So why is Ben Shalom trying to say it's 10?
I'm telling you now, if they really want to keep the money they've got, in Ben Whitaker, he fights 12 rounds. You do not want to give any excuse for anything because if he wins over 10 rounds, people go, yeah, but he wouldn't have won over 12, right? So you kind of tarnish the win.
He's got to step up now. That Ben, it looks like they're trying to squirm out, doesn't it?
Mm. I think he's got no choice but to. So here are the things for me. He has to win, and he can't win by jabbing and moving because people want to see him dog it out with Liam now because they're like, yo, he didn't like it when the pressure came on. So Ben's got that psychological pressure to show that he can dog it out. Because think about this, Russ. If you beat Liam Cameron, look at what suddenly is in front of you. Lyndon Arthur, Dan Aziz, Craig
God.
Richards, etc., etc. That's a bumpy road to the top.
Mm.
So there's no point in trying to nick a win now because you're gonna have to go through the same process again in your next fight. So you may as well just dog it out now and make a statement.
Okay, Don Charles and AJ, Jug ears roasting Ben Davison, saying he should go to Don Charles. What do you make of that? On Talksport as well, Spencer Oliver sticking it to boxer size Ben.
Well, AJ started with Don. People forget that.
Finchley.
So you partly finished it, but after he won the gold, he was training with Don. And when they were doing the whole professional, how you're going to set yourself up as a pro, AJ got AJ was like, look, I want to train with Don Charles. And rumor has it that Derek was like, Don, if you train this AJ kid, I'm off.
Yeah.
That's the rumor. And I don't know if that's true or not, but that's the rumor.
Okay. Do you think Jug ears is out of order, sticking it to Ben Davison, or is he just being Mr. Bias, going out all out for all things Finchley?
No, I think it's a valid question to ask. What has Ben added to AJ's game?
Okay.
I think the best thing that came out of that relationship was Joshua got to be in the same gym as some young, hungry fighters. So you had 3 or 4 big guys in that gym that were hungry. And so AJ had to be on his game all the time. I think that was good for him. But in terms of him boxing in the ring, AJ may as well just swallow his pride and go back to McCracken.
Yeah. Would he take him back though, Rob? Yeah, he would.
Yeah.
Yeah, he would. Uh, is Fury retired for good? He's been running up and down Promenade in Morecambe with Bamba Gascoigne, aka Isaac Lowe. Isaac, get a fucking bath. Uh, what do you think?
I think he's done. Whether he's retired, I don't know. But he, as a viable heavyweight at that level, he's done.
Yeah,
Lifestyle catches up to you eventually.
yeah. Derek Chisora, he's the noise in the mix and he's 42 in a few months. He's saying he sells out Wembley with John Coffey. What do you think?
Yeah, he does. 100%.
Does Derek sell Wembley out with John Coffey?
Yeah, 100%.
Eddie
That's an
Hills
insane
is
story.
now on company house, registered as living in Monaco. What's all that about? You'll be able to explain that better than me. All I know about tax exiles is 63 days a year you're allowed here, aren't you?
Isn't it
So,
90? I think it's 90.
oh, is it 90 now? It was 63 when I worked for Big Ronnie.
It's
Big
something
Ron
that's
always
over the
used to
number.
go over. Do you remember when he used to go over on his days and they come and hammered him, didn't they, for half a
Yeah,
million? They went back 7 years on him, didn't they, or 6 years or something?
yeah. So if you're Eddie, think about this. What's keeping you in London right now? Not much. You know, you're probably traveling for 180 days a year minimum anyway. And then you're like, well, okay, the other 180, I spend 90 in Monaco, and then maybe spend 90 in the UK.
So that's how he's doing it then, yeah.
Yeah, you go, man. Like, times are hard at Matcham. He doesn't want to be paying taxes now, does he?
Monaco to Stansted's not far, is it really, on plane?
That's a private jet for him, isn't he? He fly. He probably knowing him. He
Eight grand,
probably
isn't it, on a private jet like this? Well, it's 8.5 grand from Jersey to Sheffield Airport, 8.5, one way. So it'd be 10 grand, wouldn't it, Monaco, would you have thought, wouldn't you?
Monaco, but he'd be landing in Biggin Hill, right? That's where Like when David Hay flew private, he'd always land in Biggin Hill, and because it's just quicker to get to London from there.
Yeah. Okay. Quick one on women's boxing. Terry, is it done?
Uh it's never got going, has it? Really?
Hmm.
And I think it's got this problem of it's not lucrative enough to pull all the good amateurs out of the amateur systems they're in because they earn more money there. And because they don't come out, it never gets the strength and depth it needs to actually be a credible sport. So I think until they can fix that, they're going to struggle.
Okay. Last one. Nick Ball against I know you. Who wins?
I knew it wins easy.
Do you know we've only got two world champions at the moment? Nick Ball and Dubois. The
Do you remember we had
boxing.
13?
Well, we had eight, I remember. Is that we had 13 at one point? Yeah.
Like 2016, 2017
Oh,
time,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I remember we had
Billy
eight.
Joe, Frampton, we had loads.
We've got two. The boxing's booming, according to Super Bean.
Who's back on the DAZN?
Well, I mean, I thought you were leaving Sky to try other things. Pastures new. Still ended up in boxing, didn't he? He knows where all bodies are buried, though, doesn't he? Super Bean. So Super Bean's got his sent back in mix. So what are we going to tell his story to Daily Sport? Yeah, he's back in mix at DAZN because he's a company man, isn't he? He'll go into bat for them, won't he? Do you know what I
Mate,
mean?
the way they got rid of Costello for Bean, oh my God.
And now Mike Costello gone and Super Bean back in the mix, eh? Shall I do it before we go? Bean! Runner bean, could have been, should have been, never been, baked bean, creepy bean, beanie. I'll run post Stiltskin, we're on to you. I nearly forgot my lines then. That's about it. What you got planned for the rest of the day?
I've got to meet a friend of mine this afternoon. They've come down to the area for a weekend, so I said, let me go and see them. Got to do a run before I do that, so we got to get a little quick 3 miler in, and then I'll probably just rest for the rest of the weekend, mate. Just enjoy whatever we've got left of the sun.
Good man. Okay. Well, listen, you take care. Have a
I will.
great weekend,
You
Terry,
too,
and
mate.
I'll speak to you again.
Speak to you soon, pal.
Cheers, mate. Bye bye.
All right, bye.
Well, that was Terry. Women loving, men want to be him. That's about it, really. Quick bike ride, I think, into Rugeley. After playing pool this afternoon, I think. I'll lose myself at 20 games. I'll tell you what, to say it's sunny outside, it's still windy, isn't it? So, right, thanks for liking and subscribing and leaving a comment. I hope you've enjoyed this free parter. Leave a comment in the comment section. Don't be shy. And all them people that keep leaving vile messages on a daily basis, listen, they just get removed. What I say to you is this: email me porkycore@mail.com, and instead of leaving vileness in comment section, let's come on and let's have a look at you and let's see what your boxing knowledge is like. Hey, that's all. So don't be shy. Don't be shy. Like Sam Jones. So, all right. One peace out. Here, Flex. Oh, you're trading now, Flex. Pop, pop, bang. Hey, old Flex there with his mate PC Gully. Hey, we let anybody into the sport, don't we? Go on, Booyaka.